don't know what to say. To really get in depth to the feminist piece, everything is created female. Everybody comes from the egg. You know, we can talk about.
We've all got a woman and a female and a male energy within us.
I'm gonna speak on that. Everybody. We can talk about maleness, but really, maleness is only a polarization of the female whole. It's just been labeled something different because of physical appearances, but it's not actual. It's really just based on that physical appearance. Because energetically, everyone is really equal composition, and again, the physical difference with women being able to give childbirth, and men in that, I guess synonymously with that role, being more of a protector of the household, is something that is a manifestation of a wholeness taking place. It is the externalization of both sides taking part of what either cannot produce physically, and so at that moment it becomes whole in this manifest experience. But people have become so caught up with themselves that they can't see the beauty and the purity in that external relationship, because we've been taught to abuse that relationship. We've been taught to exploit that relationship and not seek our own connection with our primordial essence, which is very much gentle. It is not an aggressive existence. That's something that has happened over time, and as it has happened, we've done things more so to our destruction than to our benefit. And so, if we are able to regain our sense of gentleness in respect to handling the unnecessary force that we experience in the world so commonly today, those things will begin to die. Because people will begin to remember that love is kind, love is gentle. Love is meant to be experienced with everything you experience in your life. It is not only meant to be experienced romantically. You can experience a great sense of pleasure within your body without having any mate, anybody to kiss or to make love to. And even those things, when they do take place, create trouble for people because they're no longer connected with themselves. They become dependent emotionally on that other person to feed their needs, and really, they don't even understand that they do not need that romantic interaction in order to be happy, to put a smile on their face. So they may experience it partly, but then there's this lack that's like, oh, I need a mate, I need a mate, I need a mate. When it's like, no, really, some of the most beautiful relationships happen when you're going about your happy business, and you find somebody else going about their happy business, and you're like, oh, wow. This is some really happy business. So let's get busy. And that's where it goes. That's where it starts, and it creates a beautiful family, So the only way to really do away with a lot of this stuff is for that to happen much more commonly. This happy business making way for the getting busy, so that we got these kids who have parents who are still kids and not adults, who think that they have to control everything.
See, I find that adults these days are very adult-like, though. Anyway,
yeah, right. That's cool. I like that.
Like they're always trying to score points with their kids, on a large level. Like they want to be cool for their kids, as opposed to actually really wanting to help them.
Right.
And like,
I feel that.
No, that's not true. I mean, parents innately want to help them, but they just have lost the compass of really how.
Right. Yeah. I think what you said is absolutely appropriate, because the how is really what's been lost. People have forgot how to do things in a harmonious fashion, and that has a lot to do with the distractions that come with the modern world. Be it through media, be it through the work environment, be it through unnecessary desires, be it through whatever it is. It has allowed us to really get caught up in things that are so destructive, rather than holding close to home in simple endeavors that are guaranteed to bring progress. But fear is something that is continually being presented as a ploy to move us from our position of centeredness, if you will. And what you said about parents scoring points with children is great, but on the other side, it definitely has to be balanced with actually being role models and examples for kids. But if they can't do that and they're just trying to be cool, then that cripples the child also, because then the child becomes spoiled.
Exactly.
You know,
and
so
lost,
it's like,
looking for guidance. Where do they find it?
And they have to find their own. And children are very capable of doing that, I would say, given, the power of their intellect, but also, and I'd say the power of the intellect influencing how much the program is able to, move them from their position. I think those people are special and have a very important mission, if you will, to be real. And it shouldn't be approached as a mission. It should be, this is my mission in life. It should be, something that happens by happenstance. But it certainly is a part of what we are here to do as human beings. Intellect at work. Intellect is not that which is hubristic. It takes pride in the things that are accomplished. It simply looks at things, appreciates them for what they are, and rebels, in that which takes its place. It's like basking in your own glory. It's a wonderful thing. And even that creates a high. That's extremely pleasurable. The eureka that happens.
She just had a skull on her shirt as she was running by, and I thought, and right when you were saying eureka, I was like Persephone.
Awesome. See, that's great. Skulls are a very interesting symbol because they symbolize death.
They remind us that.
Yeah. Well,
death is always right over our shoulder, or right in front, or right behind. We don't know.
Death is happening right in front of us. Actually,
yeah, right now. In us, out of us.
Yep. In this current place, death is very important because there's certain things that need to die. The ego needs to die. Certain organisms need to die to regenerate the Earth's cycle so that new things are created. People live and die every day.
You say everything needs to die,
yeah,
right?
Everything.
And be reborn or not, but
right, exactly right. And really, one of the most beautiful things about human beings is that we have the potential in this physical form to be more or less immortal. But that's something we've forgotten how to do. So people become afraid of death, until they become, okay with it. But I would say a new approach to death is like listening for how long you're gonna live. Like, I already know at 24 I'm gonna live for hundreds of years. And you should know that. And you can too, is what I'm saying. So,
well, how?
Well, first thing is meditation. That's the first step. Meditation is what connects you with the power of your soul, which is like your everlasting battery, and open up the various frequency fences that have been implanted into the planetary grids over a course of time, so that the power emanating from your soul can infiltrate into the rest of your body so you no longer age. And I would say, in the process of that taking place, the next important thing is diet. I'm a vegan. I don't eat anything that was slaughtered. I do not ingest any of that in my body, because that is taking in a form of death. That is accelerating the death process. And soul integration is something that happens that will allow us to really experience the fullness of our humanity, which is not living until 80 and falling to the ground and being buried and everyone being sad about it. And that's not always the case, everyone being sad about it. But I say that because as a commonality, that is a type of programming that has happened that has allowed us to experience a sense of sadness in our world rather than experience the blissfulness that is with us all the time. So, to talk more about death, my father passed away on February 27th, 2011. And,
rest in peace.
Yeah, absolutely. My father's still here. I was able to communicate with him the next day. He was in the house.
How so? What do you mean?
We talked about my mother earlier. My mother was in the arms of me and my brother, and my dad said, "Get her out of here." My parents were divorced. He said, "Get her out of here." And I was like, man, let me get this woman out of this office. My mother hadn't been allowed the house for years.
Wow.
I'm not one who is very emphatic about placing blame, but when blame can be placed, it ought to be, so that people learn from it. She's the reason why my family broke up. So, unfortunately, that's been the situation. But when people die, it's not something really to be sad about. just because of what I talked about. I was able to communicate with my dad the next day, and he was very close. He was close in the area, you know, during the course of the proceedings to the funeral, you know. So, and then also
And what
traveling
form
and
did
going.
he take? Like, in what form did he take?
In the ethereal form, I could sense his presence. I couldn't necessarily see it. It was of the same, you know, physical size, if you will.
Yeah.
But it was more so the feeling of a presence rather than the seeing of a presence.
Yeah.
So it's the same, you know. And I went to other places, you know, people that he was very close to and I would say intimate with. And, you know, after having not, you know, experienced him for a while and him greeting me there, and I'd be like, oh, so this is where you've been, you know? So I think it's really important because everyone had, you know, we can communicate with everything. Everyone has the ability to communicate with not only subterranean forces, i.e. forces of the dead and beings that live within the earth, but also extraterrestrial forces. You know, there are visitors here from other parts of the galaxy. And, you know, some of them are here to help us and some of them are here to hurt us, unfortunately.
One thing, because this is hilarious. She's literally crept inside to beg for food. I hope she hasn't been disrupting your meal. Oh, you do. All right, Fiesta. I'm sorry. I wasn't looking at you.
Come on, Fiesta.
All right. Why do you think beings would be here to harm us?
Because human beings are naturally guardians of planet Earth. Earth is a very precious resource as a planet, and us being guardians of this planet, those extraterrestrials are interested in the resources that the planet has, and the only way to get to them really is through us, because we're the people that roam the place. And so a lot of what has happened governmentally, economically, systematically in that sense, is the infiltration of those extraterrestrial forces that are not in our best interest controlling the government, which in turn creates the oppression of the people, or at least, at the very least, does not alleviate the oppression of the people. That is something that is of extraterrestrial influence, know that. And is administered from the interior government out into whatever governments, you know, have been affected by that agenda.
So you think our government is being run by aliens?
Definitely. At the very core of things, no question. No question about it.
That's probably the best interpretation I've heard yet.
It's serious. It's that serious. So, and then there are beings here, extraterrestrials, that are very powerful and masterful. I don't really use the word masterful. I would say mistressful because everything's created female.
Are you just trying to score points with me here?
No, see? That's exactly what I'm not trying to do, you know? I'm just calling it like it is. Because that's the truth, you know. Male dominance has infiltrated our speech and the way we talk, the way we act, and all that kind of thing. And I've been very much involved in removing it from my speech pattern because I don't even consider myself male. I'm female like everybody else. And everybody should know that they're female and understand what their role is, you know, as someone with a penis or someone with a vulva. You know, so that's what it is. And so to these beings who administer a sense of mistressship when it comes to their maneuvering and their movement in our manifest universe, that's Solas, please come sit down with me. We're on video. You going to this party?
Yes.
I'll see you there in a minute. Hey, get a chair.
Hi.
Sandy, this is Silas.
Nice to
Silas
meet you.
One of my best friends.
All right.
What's up, man? Give me a hug.
Man, best friends who you don't respond.
Yeah, look.
My God.
We'll talk about it.
Wrong.
We'll talk about it.
Shade.
I told her I'm going to harm it all summer, so
Yeah.
don't take it personal.
Look at this.
Yeah, man, look at you.
I just cut mine. Mine was like out here.
Really?
Yes, and I got a
man.
job and
You shaved it up.
Hi, puppy.
This is Fiesta.
Oh, Fiesta? I love it. Silas and I used to practice, I don't know if we still practice Nietzsche and Buddhism together.
Buddhism.
Yeah. Buddhism.
What?
Nietzsche and Daishonin Buddhism.
What is Nietzsche and Daishonin?
Centered around the chanting of Nam Myoho Renge Kyo.
Oh, right.
Common
Okay.
Buddhist practice, especially here in America, I'd say. And that's how we met. Practicing Buddhism. Yes. I no longer practice Buddhism. Yes. How do you know each other?
We got pizza in line together.
And we're talking about the universe.